So finally, we are doing this. We've been thinking about reviewing something, talking about something. I don't know for
Finally.
how many months, how many years. But this is telepathy,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
it's good. At least there's a start.
yeah, a couple of
At
days
least.
ago, I woke up to a message from Yuki, watch Adolescence, and I was like, you don't tell me what to watch. And it seemed that both of us had finished watching it a day before, the night before. And what a wait, what a show. What do you think?
I enjoyed it. I am not watching a lot of shows that are recommended in the Netflix, the top 10 shows or whatever.
Okay.
But I don't know. I didn't even know that this show is being talked about so much
Yeah,
in the
same here,
media
same
and
here.
elsewhere. I had no clue.
I had no clue
बाद में तो when
who this
हाँ
actor is, who is Stephen Graham, who is
right.
Jack Thorne. I mean, and when I started watching, it seemed to me like Australian content. But then I went
Hmm.
back, it is a British show, and it just popped up on Twitter, and everybody was raving about it. There was minimum promotion, and I went back to the poster, and it's a very intriguing subtitle that they have below adolescence. I don't know if you've seen. It says a child accused, everyone left to answer.
Yeah, I
And
haven't noticed that though,
and
to be
everyone
honest.
includes not only the child's
Includes
family, it includes all the viewers. It includes the camera that was shooting all of this.
the way they've shot. I think I enjoyed the way they've shot
Hmm.
the single take thing.
Yeah, yeah. Let's come back to
Uh,
that. There's a lot of trivia that I also read.
hmm.
So, did you binge watch this?
No, I watched it over like 2 days, I think, because
Yeah,
it's an hour each,
yeah.
and yeah. So first day I watched the two episodes, and then the next day I watched the next two. That's how I did
Okay.
it.
And it is quite immersive. I mean, it took me, I will talk about each episode, but yeah, that one episode, it is 50 minutes, but it took me almost 2 hours, 50 minutes because it was so, and it was
You were
middle of
pausing,
the,
and
yeah, it was middle of the day. I
yeah.
have this habit of going back because if I miss a line, I miss a cue, I miss a camera angle or
Acha.
whatever, but this was like very, very heavy
Hmm.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, let's come to the first episode. So when it starts, you saw the first 5, 10 minutes. What did you think? What is this going to be? Because I think both of us
I
went into
remember
it without knowing any background, what it is.
I had no idea. I had no
Exactly.
idea
Same
what the
here.
show was about. Yeah, but by the name of it, I knew it has something to do with adolescence,
Of
obviously.
course. Yeah.
But other than that, I had no clue about what's the plot and how they're going to deal with it. And they've left it in a way. Uh, I thought there'll be a closure.
Hmm.
Of course, they did give a closure in the final episode, but I was not expecting it to be it was very drama heavy. I felt the entire show, it was so emotionally charged and very, what happens in generally shows like this which are based out of a prison, and when somebody is held captive at a prison or something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
generally it's more on the investigation, generally it's more on
Exactly.
the what we call it, the hood unit. We are
Yeah.
more focused on acha kisne kiya and all that.
To add to that, it's also there are other
Yeah.
shows which look at this murder angle, and you always show the victim's family suffering. Here you have the
Hmm.
perpetrators, the guy who's committed or not committed the crime. I mean, it's okay to give spoilers now, but they
Yeah.
never show the girl, that Katie girl, who was killed
Yeah.
by this guy who's right behind you. If you look behind, he's staring at you
Hmm.
right now. Look behind.
Yeah, I know.
Jamie is
Yeah.
right there. But they never talk about Katie. The only thing they mention about Katie is about that friend Jade, who's just
Yeah. Yeah.
devastated and hits that
Yeah.
other Ronnie or whatever, that Ryan guy. Sorry, not Ronnie.
Ran. Hmm.
And the only shot we have is of. We'll come to the scene episode otherwise. But otherwise, there's no mention of Katie's parents. Uh,
There's nothing. There's no
there's
mention of the
nothing.
victim. There's nothing. So it actually more centers around, I think, Jamie side of the story, more on his psyche and
Hmm,
his,
hmm.
trials and tribulations. But I think that was a fantastic
But
thing
he's just
also,
a
right?
representative of what
Creative
online
of
culture and what incel culture has done. Okay, coming back to the
hmm.
start of the episode, first episode, what stood out? What were your thoughts when it started and when it ended? Like constantly you want to side, right? I mean, you think that somebody is innocent until proven guilty.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
constantly this guy
So
says that I haven't done it, I haven't done it,
I
until
haven't
that
done it.
little video clip. And his
Yeah.
father is just,
I when the in the first episode, the first episode is, if you see, it's more on the procedural part of it,
yes, and it's
like how
so
Jamie,
good. My
yeah,
God,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
and how they,
detailed. I mean, they take all
yeah,
his hands, right? All the fingerprints of all the fingers, and they show one by one.
yeah,
It clicks, and then the
one by
next
one,
one.
and you have to like, so it's almost very immersive vibe because
Yeah, it is like you are
it
there.
doesn't cut much.
It
It's like
doesn't.
you're there. It doesn't cut much.
It
So
doesn't cut
all
at
those
all.
10,
It's a single shot.
yeah, all, I mean, cut much, I'm saying in the sense of the how the screenplay goes, right?
Right, right.
Like when you see something, it's almost like, acha, you're there with them. And
Yeah,
also when that 10 finger thing was going on in my head, the first thought that came to me, okay, this is why this episode is 1 hour long, because
yeah.
by then I didn't know that this is the format of the show, because that's the
Exactly,
first episode.
exactly, exactly.
And I hadn't even realized that it is a one take thing, right? I actually realized it way
Why
later
it is?
in the,
In fact,
yeah.
I have to say, since you brought this up, this was like a play where
Hmm.
you're in front of the
Yeah,
audience.
yeah, and you see everything that's
Yeah, I have
happening.
done a 2 hour long play last year. Oh my God. And we were scared that whether we'll miss a line. I mean, you fumble, it's fine. Smaller mistakes are fine. You
Hmm.
can still, and they also talk about this that they had to rehearse a lot. It was almost like a play. I would compare the whole way to shot to something like Breathless, Shankar Mahadevan's Breathless. You don't have room to
Yeah,
breathe because it's one thing after the other,
you
and
don't
the
have room
camera
to,
moves.
there's no room for error, because you do an error, then the entire shot has to
It
be
has to be
restarted.
exactly. So they
Imagine
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
pain of
But
that.
then they did a lot of rehearsals, of course.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, that it's a very good form of, I don't know, there are very
what
few.
what
Do
did
you know
you
any
like
Indian?
in
I'll come to that. I think I had seen this in Trial by Fire, one episode where it's a single shot, like it's
the
just the
only other
camera
thing I can
moving.
remember is Galla Kudiya. That's it. Although that's a song,
Oh, there
right?
are mistakes in that
But
song
other
if you watch it carefully. There's a lip sync error in
but
that.
then other
Let's not digress to Bollywood now. But
yeah.
what I thought was,
Uh,
I was very impressed by the technical details of the police procedure. Every little thing they are telling him, you are under arrest. Like if you hold any
hmm,
information, it can be used against you. And this something that like this can happen to any Tom, Dick, and Harry any time. You don't expect the police to come at
right,
6:30 in the morning in your house and
right.
accuse you of murder and take you away. So that was very, very
Hmm,
realistic.
yeah,
And the
yeah.
whole thing of the dad or the
That's
parent
how
being
it
confused. I mean,
starts.
the parent is supposed to be the appropriate
Yeah,
adult,
I
but the
mean,
parent is
what
also
the hell is
confused that I
happening?
don't know what will happen.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, it was very, very real. Like the even the needle bit, like he's scared of needles. It's so relatable. Everything was very
Hmm,
relatable.
hmm,
And the end,
yeah,
the police officer who was also fantastic. I forget the actor's name now, but he says that this guy keeps denying, and perhaps I think he says I have not done it. That time I thought
yeah.
that this was something supernatural. He was possessed by somebody or he's trying to cover up for somebody. I mean, in the end, if you look at it, he was some sort of, I don't know if he had a multiple personality disorder, but it was
I
just that
I
rage
I
that made him
I
do
don't
it.
know. I just I think there's a loophole in the plot just on this bit. Like when I think they reveal to us that they show us that video in the first episode only, right? About,
Hmm.
or it's in the second. I
No, no,
forget.
no. It's
It's
the
in the
end of the
first or the
first
second.
episode where the video is very clear.
Huh. Yeah. So we already know that he's killed Katie, and we know it, right? It's in the end of the
No,
first
I mean,
episode. They show us
yeah,
the
I mean,
video.
the
Yeah,
father is shocked, but he keeps saying that you would want to believe an innocent. I mean, look at him. He's a 13-year-old guy.
I want to, but I was like, why is he denying it so vehemently again and again when it's already given to the audience?
Yeah,
That's
so
something
if you, my
I
take on that was
I couldn't wrap my head around
he
it
kept
actually.
denying it. It was only the 13th month, the last episode where he says, I want to plead guilty.
Yeah,
But he
that also in
kept,
the last 10
even
minutes.
with the psychoanalyst, the Erin
Hmm,
Doherty, she was amazing. The third episode, he
hmm.
he says it like I understand what I did, and then completely gets. very angry and says, "No, I don't know what I'm saying." He says, "I had the knife very close to her. I could have stabbed any part of her body. I mean, stabbing her
Yeah,
7 times." He keeps saying, he keeps denying it because perhaps he also understands that what he did was not his nature. It just happened. So he's also not able to accept that this is something that he could have done.
that he did it.
That's why probably his
Right.
psyche is telling him that no, this is not you, which is perhaps true. It is not him, but it is
Hmm.
also him.
Right.
It could be a very deep insight into
I
adolescence
think
where the body,
this is
and that's why
yeah, I was
that's why
coming
I
to that
think that the
only.
name
Hmm.
adolescence makes perfect sense,
Hmm.
because there are a lot of changes
Yeah.
that happen in your body at that age, which you are also trying to understand. I mean, both men, women, non-binary people,
Right.
everybody undergoes a lot of changes.
Right.
So that is a phase where you are also trying to understand whether this is me. Your voice is breaking, you have hair growth, all those hormones are coming up, all of those things. So
And
perhaps he's
also
at that
it
juncture that he doesn't realize that it is him, because there's sudden
hmm.
change in him. So it's all muddled up, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So I
was
think it's very difficult to break it down into in it's difficult to discuss this series in an episodic way,
hmm,
because a the plot is very intertwined.
yeah.
uh it could have been a 4-hour movie as well,
It was.
right? There's no need
I
of
think it was a
yeah,
4 1 hour shots.
yeah,
You
yeah,
have you
exactly.
have
So
the
what
police, you have the
mm,
school, you have the psychoanalysis, and you have the family after 30 months.
family, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it would have been,
I
it was very easy
yeah, see,
to for them to show, I mean, the whole procedure, but that has been done so many times. I mean, this is not
actually,
one case
uh,
story, right? It's
it's
not one.
nice there was nothing on the procedure, because I don't want to see what the jury says. And
No, I mean
although that would
that's
have, but I'll tell you, I was actually expecting that to happen. I
yeah, that is
thought
because
they will get to it.
yeah, because see,
We
I was
expect that, right? Huh.
I was
Right.
scared that was what is this going to be 13 reasons why? Because there it is quite detailed. It goes, the book is just for one season, but it goes for four
Yeah, but
seasons.
then
And
that's like for 4 seasons and
yeah,
some 13 episodes each. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. That
yeah,
takes you into a really, really depressive zone. So I
yeah.
may yet to finish the season 4, but 13 Reasons Why is also very well made. Okay, coming to the second episode is all in the school where you come to know he's trying to find the knife, trying to ask the students, and it's a chaos in the school. The
Hmm.
way the kids behave with their teachers, I was reminded of our school days. Can you imagine saying shut up to a teacher? And can you
But then
calling
I
a
wasn't,
teacher?
because we never could do that. Because we never could do
We
that.
did
I
it
was reminded
behind
of
our
it.
backs, maybe, but not upfront, right? And then you have this Jade calling that
Yeah.
lower school teacher as lower school.
Yeah, yeah.
And she,
I actually Jade's character was very, very. What should I say? She
on
came
the
off to me as
edge,
some, of course, on the edge, and
very on the
of course she
edge.
was so like, yeah, she was so remorseful and she was so
Yeah,
angry.
yeah.
Uh, she was angry, and but the thing is,
Again,
I
adolescent.
felt that she was, yeah, she was more angry than upset. I felt
She
the
was
fact that Katie is not there
because she
was
Katie
vecting her
was
in a way. Yeah,
she
was
says,
vecting her
right,
in a
that
way ki,
Katie was the only one
yeah,
who accepted her as she was.
accepted her, which I don't know what they meant by that.
I don't know.
They
Maybe
could
she
refer to
had,
her.
yeah, she
She had
had
some issues.
issues
Yeah,
probably.
yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
could be racism. It could be some
It could be
issues,
racism. Yeah,
because
yeah.
the teacher mentions a shrink. I mean, does not mention a shrink, but she takes it for a shrink and she's like, no, I'm done with it. And she has a
Hmm,
single mother, I think, who she says, why did you call my mother? She'll be angry because she has to leave work and come and deal with this rage
hmm.
issues. But she makes a very important point when that police inspector, DI Bascom, asks her about Katie. And she says, retorts rather, saying that your son is also here. And what can you know about his behavior? Right. Once the room is shut in the house, what is happening behind the door,
We don't know. We
we
don't
don't
know.
know. Even
And
parents, we don't know.
the
Even we
same
don't know.
thing at the end,
Yeah.
Jamie's
Yeah.
father
We'll come to
says
that
this exact same
elaborately.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I
Yeah, yeah,
love
we'll
that.
come to that. We'll come to that. But
Yeah,
here in the
yeah.
second season, you come to know. I did not know about incel culture. I had
You mean episode? Yeah.
second episode. Sorry. Yeah, I Andrew Tate. Yeah, here and there you hear about him. But incel culture, I didn't know. That was new for me.
I had no idea. I had to Google it literally
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah.
and
This
how
80
that
20,
entire
80% of women like 20% of men.
liking 20% of men,
There
huh?
you see some hint of bullying and maybe what drove Jamie to do what he did.
Also, they did give a justification on why Jamie did it a little, right? Because he was the one being bullied. That's what the police's son, tells his
Yeah,
father,
I
right?
mean, I don't know if it's
That
justified to kill
yeah.
somebody because of bullying. I mean, it happens, but that was probably his motive because the police was trying to find a motive and a weapon.
Hmm. Which they did not find finally. I thought the
I
knife
mean,
would be a plot point, but no,
yeah,
it
they
it, it wasn't.
coaxed Ryan to say that it's a knife, but then immediately put him under bars. By the way, the
But then
end of
Ryan admitted that it was his knife.
it
So
was his
yeah,
knife. Yeah, but there's a
yeah,
very
yeah.
interesting thing. At the end of so season two is another masterclass in shooting. So you have that camera when he goes to fetch Ryan from the classroom.
You mean episode again?
Sorry, I keep saying episode. I keep saying season episode. Uh, yeah. So where was I? So he enters the room and says, "I want to meet Ryan," to Mr. Malik, and then Ryan gets out of that window and runs.
Yeah, and that's a shot. And he runs.
Actually,
He runs a
that
lot.
window is a VFX.
Uh,
But it is a shot.
uh,
It is a good shot. And at the end, when they are crossing the zebra, when they're crossing the road, that camera is attached
hmm,
to a drone. I was looking at the making, and then they go up in the sky and they
hmm,
show the city and land up at the crime scene, where you see Eddie,
hmm.
Jamie's father, coming and leaving a bouquet of flowers. And then there's a
Right.
song that is called "Fragile," the beautiful song.
I love that bit. I love that bit. Yeah.
And I read about this, and actually, that end, there's the whole thing is a choir. It's actually the school choir that sang this song, the school where they shot. And at the
Okay.
end, there's a girl's voice saying, "On and on the rain will fall like tears from a star." And then there's a solo girl who says, "On and on the rain will say how fragile we are." Do you know who that girl is?
Oh
That
wow.
girl is the
I
same
I,
girl
I
who got killed. So they got that Katie,
oh
the actor who played Katie, to sing this part. That was
oh
very
lovely,
interesting trivia.
lovely, lovely.
Okay, now let's come
That's a
to the
trivia.
that's a very
Hmm.
interesting thing. Okay, let's come to the third episode, which is probably, I think it's easily my favorite episode of the.
Same here. Same here. I was glued. I couldn't move. I was
Oh God,
breathless.
this
And
took me two
this
and a half
doesn't
hours.
happen. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen so easily while watching something. We are watching and
You
then
want to
you
watch
pass
it?
on.
Let's watch the end probably.
And I think if you have, I think we can do it the scene wise way, right?
I'll
Uh,
just play.
I guess we can stop it here.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I did.
This is one of my favorite uh, scenes, the scenes
Yeah.
that we just saw, because this scene really scared me as well. Had I been in the room with Jamie, being an
Hmm.
adult, I would have been scared,
Yeah.
and because at a point Jamie was so angry, I thought had there been a knife, he could have killed
He would have.
me.
He would
If
have.
he would have been there. Yeah.
He would have. He
And
could.
I think this scene was so brilliantly done from even the psychology of the therapist,
Yes.
that when she enters,
Hmm.
she's not scared of Jamie.
No,
But
no,
when she
she's
leaves,
very
she's very
friendly.
scared of Jamie.
She because
Yeah, that's
she
what I'm saying.
has found out who he is.
Also, she has years of experience. She's like, this should be a cakewalk, but then it wasn't,
But there are see,
right?
this
And
is one
and
actress again. I
and
did
that really scares her.
Yeah, this is one actress,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
episode, and my God, I think she's going to get all the awards. By the way, another trivia: this guy who plays Jamie, Owen Cooper, this is his first
Hmm.
acting role ever.
Yeah, yeah.
He
That
was selected
I
out of
saw that. Yeah.
500 people, and the third episode was the first episode they shot. Imagine he
What?
is, yes. Look at the
Oh my
complexities in
God.
his emotions. He's friendly, he's
How did it?
mimicking. It's just crazy. The director, Stephen Graham, who's also the creator, not the director, who plays his dad, says this guy is a generational talent,
Yeah,
once in
the
a
father.
lifetime. Yeah, the father. And
I'm shocked at how.
the gamut of emotions, my God. He just switches like a chameleon.
Yeah.
He's mimicking, he's getting angry, his body language is changing. By the end,
You
he's
needed.
become. So if you again now if I go back, the first time he's taken into that cell, the first episode, He hears these people
Hmm.
shouting, right, from the other jail cells.
Other
And yeah,
other cells,
and
yeah.
this is the last of what we see of Jamie, and he's become one of those. He's banging the doors, he's shouting, and all those things are happening.
Hmm.
Ah,
I know,
and this
right? Yeah,
actress,
this
and there are
episode, yeah.
other things. This actress, I mean, there's a thing where she says, I want to do a correct analysis, not a fast analysis." And that the person in that camera room who's showing her clips, he's also kind of a pain in the ass, right? So she somehow manages him. She takes a break to realize, she changes a lot of, there's a lot of tactic change that happens to get the thing out of Jamie. So let me ask you, what does it mean to be masculine? Because that is something which was very, very important.
I think to be very comfortable in whatever you are and however you are.
Exactly. And this is a very interesting thing
Uh,
that it would have
yeah.
been very easy for the makers to, make his mother an alcoholic, make his father a wife beater. And you can easily say that, okay, ghar pe jo dekha hai, he's imbibed all of that. But this is a family,
Hmm.
regular, nice
But they
family. His
didn't,
father gets
yeah,
angry,
they
which is a
didn't.
normal amount, right? It's a happy family.
Hmm.
And I
Which
think
is
the
what the
maker,
therapist was trying to get at, right?
exactly,
When she was
exactly,
asking about,
exactly, exactly.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
her way of
Hmm.
saying that.
Understanding whether he has any, yeah, trauma which is
And look
already
at
in
his
him.
understanding that there were private pictures of this girl circulated. And that could be his reason of asking her out because her guards would be low at that time, right? And then he
Hmm.
thought that, okay, when she's at her low, I can ask her out. Maybe then she will accept me.
Also, if in this episode, obviously in the third episode, there are certain scenes where he questions her back,
Hmm.
saying, "You are asking me because I said this, right?"
Hmm.
And it's true, and it's almost like, oh God, how does a child know this?
Exactly.
And that is when I think she, the therapist, kind of becomes very aware. She
Hmm.
suddenly starts to treat him as an adult,
Yeah.
like he's no more an
And
adolescent.
see,
That shifted again.
it, the
Hmm.
shift is again, I mean, it's borderline interrogation. It's not like the interrogation that the police do,
Hmm.
but she has to explicitly state that this is not an interrogation. But you look at the director's awareness and continuity skills. That little sandwich, I was wondering,
Okay.
okay, she's just doing an act of kindness. Maybe he likes marshmallows and hot chocolate. So that is fine. I
Hmm.
mean, with kids, you want to, give them things that they like. But she gets a sandwich and he says,
Hmm.
okay, I don't like pickle, but he eats it. He eats it at a moment where he's trying to calm down his anger. And by the end of it, just
Hmm.
because he's touched it, she refuses to even, like she's like, yeah, kya maine touch kar liya, like that. That was crazy.
Yeah.
So, do you think, can you blame the parents at all? I think the makers had it very clear that we can't blame the parents.
We can't, yeah. The parents had no fault of theirs. And that's where we come to the fourth episode, where basically, so the fourth episode was more of a, it to the audience, of course, it was like a teaching to us, maybe,
Yeah.
which is what how I saw it,
Okay. Hmm.
that okay, are the parents wrong? And that was an episode where they justified why the parents are not wrong. And that's the
Yeah.
line where Stephen actually
Yeah.
says,
Yeah.
I think we've done
We want to see the
we
end
couldn't go
because, yeah,
yeah, we couldn't go wrong, and we could have only done so much.
we don't have much time. So, let's just quickly see the end because I was
Yeah.
broken to see the end.
Yeah, you can play like,
And he's questioning now, how is it that,
yeah.
sorry, the streaming. How did we make her? And she says the same way we made him.
What a beautiful line. It's almost like saying,
To buffer, we can continue talking. Through the eyes of a child. I mean,
I
they are
think,
just, it's a perfect song for this.
hmm,
Also, this,
I think thematically,
yeah,
yeah,
go on.
I think thematically, I really like the fact where, we always talk about, are people born murderers, and, every serial killer has, like,
Right,
whatever.
right. No, it's not. I
And
mean,
here we see that it's nothing like that. It's just adolescence and
it
anger.
is. It is.
So I think the grasp of human emotions, and the gamut of human emotions is so wild,
My God,
right? We are
yes,
living such,
yes. Yeah,
we have such mechanical lives, and we don't think, okay, so beautiful. I think after a very long time, I saw a show that really moved me, touched me,
I
made
know.
me think, learn. Uh, And retrospect. How
I
many
couldn't
shows make
sleep.
us retrospect?
Exactly. It's soul stirring. It's thought provoking. And I don't know. For 2 nights, it's difficult for me to sleep because there was this thing inside my head that, social media and
And
so
I
many
don't know
other
if you
things.
and there's that little corner of your heart that wants Jamie out of prison also. Although, we know she's killed Katie, we know
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
adolescence that makes
Yeah.
him murder, but
Yeah.
there's that little, that slight thing in your heart that, okay, I want Jamie to be out.
So at the end,
And
who
it's,
who do you blame? Do you blame
yeah,
Jamie? Do you blame parents? Do you blame the
I,
school system? Do you blame
I
incel
don't
culture?
know.
You
I
can't.
just blame, I can't
It's
choose,
it
man,
comes
because I,
back
I can't blame the school. I can't blame the parents. I can't even blame Jamie
it comes back
because
to
he
the
was
thing
bullied.
that everyone is left to answer. There are no answers. Everyone is just left to answer. That's all.
Yeah. You cannot blame anyone about
Okay,
what they
fine.
and
Yeah, go on, go on. We
yeah,
have
yeah.
3 minutes more.
That's fine. You tell me. You
Final
can blame
important,
anyone, and I think that's something that is left for all of us.
very important thing. This was done in UK. Do you think something like this can ever come out of India? My answer is if it can only come out on
Yeah, yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
without any
It
censorship.
can. Why not in Netflix? It can. Why not?
No.
Why not? I think it can. Nowadays, shows are
Eh,
being made, yeah. Left,
Yeah,
right, and
but
center. We have such
it will not do the
such amazing
numbers.
shows being made.
It will not do the
Ha,
numbers.
numbers, I don't know.
But that's what the creative freedom to do something like this. You can make a play out of it. No, absolutely no issues. It can come on YouTube as an
But
independent
I
thing.
think the thing is, the Hindi audience is not ready for this. I'll tell you why.
But it is most
A
important. It's a Hindi, English, Bengali,
a
Telugu,
if I
forget
if
that.
I if I, if I have to make because
Not just
it
Hindi. I'm
has
talking
because
about Indian audience as a
Indian
medium of
audience, huh?
teaching them things about what is happening. I mean,
I
see,
think they should. Yeah,
Control, something recently I watched Control where Vikramaditya Motwani hinted at social media and the
I
influence.
loved
Yeah, it was
Control.
good.
I
But
loved it.
something on the
Hmm.
theme of adolescence, and also there are things done on Girls Will Be Girls, for example. That was something
Also, खो गए
very
हम
good.
कहाँ?
No,
Right? If
Girls
we
Will
talk
Be
about
Girls was
these,
amazing on
yeah,
puberty and sexuality
I
and
have seen
everything.
Girls Will Be Girls. Yeah,
Yeah, but
Girls Will Be
something
Girls.
showing guys how
Hmm.
the path basically.
Yeah,
I mean, Oh My God 2
yeah,
did it to some extent, but it was done in a very funny, humorous way. Hinted at
hmm.
that. I think the best thing that I've seen
Yeah.
in Indian cinema with kids is Tare Zameen Par.
Now we have Udan. I loved it. We have many.
Udan
We
also.
have a few.
Udan
We
also.
have a
Yeah,
few.
we
Like
have a few. But
if you think
something like
about it, we
this,
have a few.
something this intense, this unhinged.
Yeah, this
There
I
are people who
haven't
can make it,
seen.
but I don't know if the OTT or if the production houses will green light something that's so intense.
Okay, one question I have for you. If what would you rename the like if I would tell you to name the show
I think it's
instead of
very
adolescence, what
no.
would you do?
I will not touch it because it is pregnant with multilateral interpretations. It is the change that is happening in your body mentally, physically, and manifested by what Jamie also went through. He keeps saying, I did not do it because he did not realize that it was he who was undergoing a transformation, both
And also he
biologically and
didn't
mentally.
realize, and also he doesn't because adolescence may we don't realize the repercussion of our actions also, right?
Exactly. You don't have
So
the
that is
mental
also there,
capability to reflect on that. It's only later, right?
right? Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we have less than a minute. So,
That's fine. I think it was lovely.
yes.
Finally, we
And
did
if the
this.
viewers want us to review anything else, please write down in the comments below. I don't know where we'll upload this, but please let us know. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye, bye.